Hey guys, Robert here, and I just saw a couple hours ago, granted, but just today I saw Godzilla minus one. I saw it myself. Ingrid's not feeling well, so I went with my younger brother to go see it. And yeah, don't wait. Ingrid and I plan on seeing it eventually. We are planning on seeing it and doing a proper retrospective. But I love this movie so much. I needed to talk about it. I honestly need to talk about this movie because hands down, already best Godzilla movie. This tops King of the Monsters. This tops everything we've seen. This, oh my God, this is a Godzilla movie we've been needing. Not that it affects anything from the monster. It's a completely different animal. But this feels like the kick in the pants that the Japanese Godzilla has been needing. This feel because it's the it's the polar opposite of Shin Godzilla. Where Shin Godzilla was set in the present day, focused more on the and the. And I just realized because I don't memorize the Japanese names, unfortunately. I'm just loading it up right now. Should have done this ahead of time, but yeah, seriously, this movie is just so damn good. It is so damn fucking good, and I can already tell you why. Because this one, it's not just a dumb kaiju movie with just human subplots that's meant to cater to it. No, this is a human piece with Godzilla as the instigator of everything. So much of this, it's about Godzilla is there. And within the first 5 minutes, we get Godzilla. Sort of. I'll get to that. But it's more about Koichi Shikishima, who was a kamikaze pilot. No, spoilers. Make this out of the way. Spoiler alert. Yeah, he was a kamikaze pilot right at the end of World War II. And he feigns a technical issue. There isn't one. He's just too scared to go and commit suicide. So he lands on a place, Odo Island. It was basically a repair island. And yeah, they find nothing nothing wrong with it. So the lead mechanic, Sosaku Toshibana, doesn't shame him. He acknowledges Japan's loss in the wars and inevitable. Completely understand. Until Godzilla, or rather, I'll go with Godzilla Soar, walks on land and attacks it. Now, an actual animal with a brain in its head. It's taken the idea of this giant thing actually can think. It can feel. It's still animalistic, but it's no idiot. So yeah, he survives and Takibana completely spins on it. He blames Koichi. Rightfully so. And what does he do then? To a place that you think was nuked, it wasn't nuked. It was wiped out in air raids, air bombings and everything. And his family was completely gone. And he meets up with a woman named Sumiko. She's Shikishima's neighbor who she'd be like, I've done your job. My kids will still be alive because her family gets wiped out, just like his does. And she at first shows no remorse whatsoever, and I don't blame her. And he feels like shit. Time goes on, and eventually he's just wandering until a girl is running, holding a baby. We don't know it's a baby, it's a bundle. She runs, he gets in the way, she hands him the bundle and bolts off. Yeah, it's a baby. He eventually meets up with the girl who's impressed at why didn't you just abandon the kid? And it's like, why would I abandon her in a place like this? Because it's pretty much rundown shacks by this point. That's how devastating. There's no chance of rebuilding or nothing. Now, this girl is named Noriko, and the young girl is Akio. And turns out Noriko is not the mother. She was given, her family was also wiped out by the air raids, and her parents told them just to keep on living. But Akio, her parent and family died, and gave Noriko to take care of her, and thus they do. And he by idly. She's like, it's like what's with her with the kid? Like, that's not her kid. Wait, what? And then she's realizing, you two don't know what the heck you're doing. This kid's gonna die from malnourishment. Gives him rice and everything, but says, this isn't for you. This is just for the baby. And I love it when she walks out. She's like, I'm giving my prize-winning white rice for you two. Ungrateful. It's cute. It's character moments like this that you love. And I also do like it how even before that, he's basically saying, you can stay, you can get something to eat, but I want you to go. And then when he has a brief moment of just looking at what would be the photos, he didn't notice that they fell asleep. He's like, no, Ugh. And he lets them stay. And that's how he keeps looking at us. They found her, and they've been staying ever since. Yeah, he can be a little dense, a bit. But yeah, eventually a couple of years pass, some months pass, able to get a job at being a minesweeper, removing the mines that are surrounding Japan and everything. And the two have started to get close. It's clear they have a connection, but they haven't gotten married yet still. But yeah, on board the ship, we are also introduced to the crew of the ship who will last the entire movie, and that is Shiro, who's a trainee, never saw the war. To the point where he's like, pity the war didn't last any longer. I could have seen some action. Gets grabbed like, please tell me you don't mean that. No. You also have you have Kenji Noda, a former weapons engineer who's a lot bigger name than we know at first, and also Yoji, Akitsu, who is the captain of the boat, and he's the guy's like, I don't care for follow government orders or anything, and I like it. Basically, the four start to bond. First, they figure out, okay, we're on a wooden boat. We just clip those things, the chains, it comes out, and we just shoot the bombs. And I also like how because Yoji was he was just a ground force, so he's used to holding the gun. Nothing's wobbling around. He's just like do. And I love it how Koichi is just like, you gotta prepare for its movement and everything. Yeah. And things start to get better for them. They eventually, Koichi's able to get a house and everything. And a much better house. And they think Noriko's his wife and everything. And I just always like, oh, I'm not a wife. You're like, she came in, never left, and the kid adopted. And I just love it. It's like young Akio. It's like, father, I told you, don't call me father. And they're like, come on, man. I just love these guys. These guys are like, why are you acting like this? You got a great woman, a lovely child. Why are you being so dismissive? And I was feeling the same way. I'm like, come on, man. But yeah. Then eventually the bomb tests occur, and the bombs are dropped, and I just love it. One of them drops right by the islands where turns out Godzilla is, and it's just like you hear this big painful roar and everything. Clearly, it's transforming. Now, eventually, Godzilla starts attacking boats, and I do like this. They take the Cold War into account, but it's more to explain why America doesn't get involved, and it makes perfect sense. They know some monster is attacking. There's evidence. They're not denying it. However, unfortunately, they can't do anything, because if they start sending boats over there, and Russia's going to be like, why are they putting money and weapons here? It's going to escalate things. And if they say, oh, there's a giant monster attack, no, of course they're not going to believe it. They're like, you faked this. So they basically, Douglas and General MacArthur are saying, just tell them to arm themselves, to be prepared. So what do? They end up sending Koichi and the others out there to deal with it. They see one of the American battleships, and they're like, they want us to, like, why are we here to stall for time when the heavy cruiser and Takao is on its way? Of which they're like, yeah, that's a beast of a ship. It's gonna help. It will help out any way we can. And so they decide, let's gather up some mines and deal with it. And eventually Godzilla shows up, and oh god, even though this is CGI, it felt there was so much of the MonsterVerse and the Heisei era with some of the more smaller arms of the Shin version and everything. But this is a Godzilla where we get to see its face. This looks prim, proper, and yeah, they're trying to get away. Now this is going Godzilla that's not that fast, because it's fast enough, but it's still not. It's fast. It's slow enough that a full throttle boat is still able to keeping up ahead, barely. And thus they send out the mines. First mine doesn't do jack shit because it blows up on the hide. But then at one point it has his mouth like open wide, so they realize, drop a mine into it, they blow it up, and for a moment Godzilla's down. For a moment they're like, they got it. And then he heals really damn fast, and they're like, oh no. Then the Takao shows up, blasts it, and Godzilla utterly demolished it. But again, the action is so damn good. It's just like roar, gets blasted, and then sent underwater, and we get the first heat ray, but it's underwater, so all we see is big mushroom cloud. Godzilla walks off and leaves it. And then this is where we start to get this whole idea of this movie has nothing to do with the Japanese government. And why should it after World War II? It's about the people. Now, it's made clear both in another scene earlier and then here that Koichi's been suffering survivor's guilt for the Godzilla thing. Led him giving up with the kamikaze. But what happened with Godzilla? His failure there is what has really been hampering at him. And now that Godzilla's back, it's coming back full force. And Noriko's able to talk him down, calm him down. Now, by this point, Noriko's also gotten a job elsewhere and everything. Where is it? Ginza. Ginza is where she's working in, and eventually she's able to help calm him down. She is able to help calm him down to the best that she's able to. Obviously, with he's not making it any easy, and understandably so. So as it goes, but then they start getting, and they're told keep it under wrap. The government doesn't want anything, anything. They don't want any culpability if for the panic. It's like that's what they worry about more. So, but then they start hearing word that that Godzilla has come ashore, and he starts attacking every Ginza and everything, just stomping through and all that. And we have Noriko on a train, and again, this whole time I'm tense. I'm like, no, don't die. Especially after we saw that touching moment with them, how she was able to calm him down to the best she was able to. So, and Koichi realizes, I gotta get over there. And he does. But the stuff with Godzilla, he is huge. We keep seeing it from the people's point of view. He's stomping through the ground. Every step he makes is uplifting the ground. And this is a Godzilla who knows what he's doing. And he doesn't care at all. So yeah, he's just stomping through, smashing everything, just wrecking buildings. We even have a news crew walking, and then he just bumps into a building, brings it all down, taking them out. There is a body count here. And then, and Noriko is the only person who survived the train she was on. And because, Godzilla bites it, she's holding on for dear life and everything as it breaks in half, and then she drops into the water, and then she's walking in a daze. Not that I blame her. She pretty much feels like she's resigned to her fate until Koichi shows up, grabs her, and they run, and then Godzilla does his flame breath. And it's incredible. You've probably seen the clips. All of his dorsal fins just, extend outward. Kind of like lifting a reactor rods out as it's building up, and then he shoots it at the tanks, just blowing them up. And then at the shockwaves coming, Noriko pushes Koichi into an alley. He survives, and she's presumed dead. And I was heartbroken. I was completely heartbroken. And again, just Godzilla. This is his biggest attack. Really, he doesn't. Most of his attacks is back in the water. This is his only true mainline attack, besides a little bit later on. And it's incredible. This is one of the most incredible Godzilla walking through the city, smashing up everything that I've seen. Because again, he's moving a lot like the MonsterVerse version, but this Godzilla is as tall as the original. He's not MonsterVerse huge. He's definitely not Godzilla Earth huge. He's the 50 meters tall, I believe, monster. Just like it was in the not 50 meters. Well, you guys get my point. It is 50 meters tall monster from the original. But again, he's still just as menacing. And this is the case where he's big enough that we look like ants to him. We're not so big that it's like a fleas that are pester him. No, we're big enough that he can know what he's doing and it's just stomping on people and everything. And then we get to where they're trying to figure out what to do. And the government's not going to help out. So the private citizens take it upon themselves. And this is where Noda reveals his expertise. And he's post-World War II Japan. They have no scientific advancements, nothing they can do. They can't make it. Did you know that even sea life can die from rapid? They realize that's a plan we got, but they're also wondering, how can we distract? But there are no planes, except for one that's not the case where you tell he wants someone that he's planning on pulling a kamikaze himself to take. Yeah, Noriko's belief is dead. And even with Akio, but not so much. But it cares enough for her that he leaves money and leaves her in the care of her out while him and Noriko are out at work and everything. So she's mellowed out and all that. And basically, Godzilla, when he's ready to make his move. And then you have a moment with Takibana, like he's basically talking like, Koichi's like, I'm going to do this. I have Akio, but and I don't want to die. Like, neither do them. Gas that'll send them straight down underwater. And plan B then is to use these that I love. He says that the government gave us weekly designs and no ejector seats, just demanding kamikaze attacks. A lot of people die just of starvation alone for being underly nourished and everything, and things like that. And everybody's saying it's up to us. And unlike the government, we are not going to have anyone die. Of course, he's saying as Koichi's planning on committing, sort of like, we'll keep the plan. Just Koichi has to get out on the water, just get everything going. To farmlands, but thanks to Koichi, shoots at him with this plane, and he gets him, heads out there. They pull the plane, they send him down underwater, and to the point where he's building up another heat ray, he gets pulled down, and very fast. And they're like, is he gone? Pulled on the line, like, nope. So they release the balloons, come right up. Oh, and I should point out earlier, before I go further, Shiro wanted to come with them, but they're like, he feels like, otherwise I'm useless. And basically, it's just these select people are going out there. And then, now, eventually Godzilla's coming up, but he can't get up that much higher because he bites the line, so he's further underwater. They need to pull him up so they can finish him off. But they can't. 2 destroyers is not enough to do. The useless, as he put it, are there. And they grab onto the destroyers as they pull and lift him up. And Godzilla, his skin is ripped off and everything, but it's not enough damage. And they realize, we are so screwed. We are so royally screwed. As he's building up another and a heat ray. But at that moment then, Koichi flies in with the bomb. And they're like, no, you idiot, and everything. I mean, even earlier, there was a point where and Yoshi's like, hey, don't do anything reckless. You're not going to leave Akio an orphan. He's ignoring me. He's ignoring me. So when they see that happen, they're like, no. But as soon as he gets in close, as Godzilla's mouth doing is that the mouth is the key. It's his vulnerable spot. But as soon as he's coming in, he pulls on an ejector seat as the plane goes right into Godzilla's mouth, like, Jar! Blows up his entire blade. They see Godzilla on Koichi. They see Goichi is parachuting down, and it turns out Takibana told him, there's an ejector seat. Live. Hearing that from one of the people who blamed him. Noriko's alive. But we do see Noriko is alive, but there might be radiation sickness. It's hard to say. Who knows what's going to happen with them going forward, obviously. But then, of course, we find out, there's a chunk that's left and it's starting to regenerate. Who knows how long that'll take. But this movie was just so damn good. It was just so amazing. And it was just, it's the Godzilla 1950 Giant Monsters All Attack, which I'm noticing right here. Was he the writer and director? Yes, the writer and director said this was a huge influence. I should have known. Because this Godzilla acts so much like that version. It's how much it ties in. But at that point was criticizing the current day use for what they took for granted. This is a case of showing Japan that's struggling to get back on its feet. Everything about this was incredible, but the human story. Notice, talk about the humans here. These are captivating human characters. You love them. When Noriko died, and when Noriko was there with Godzilla attack, I was like, come on, get out of there. Get out of there. And then when she pushed him into the alley and got knocked aside, I was like, no. What? I was devastated. I was completely devastated. But Again, the effects here was so good. Apparently, the director was also the visual effects supervisor. That makes so much sense. This was just so good. This was just so amazingly made. Such love letter to everyone, and but it became its own thing. It took what worked before. Never knew Godzilla truly needed. Because everyone always on Monster Smash. And then it's like, oh, we don't need the stupid humans. This is one of the times where you do care about the humans. And you're for Godzilla to show up, but you're terrified for it. And the action with Godzilla was incredible. Was amazing. Just so good. So damn good. So yeah. That's all I was going to say, really, guys. I mean, the acting was incredible. I saw in the Japanese stuff, so there's no English stuff yet. And again, just all the hype people are saying, go out and see it. It is amazing. And I have no other criticism to give for this. I really don't. Even the use of Ikafube's music, music in this was amazing. Now, does this set out that it for a sequel? Oh, possibly, but as the director said, I think it's more cinematic if it doesn't end neatly and properly. It's not just so a sequel can be made, it's also so the characters are kept alive in the hearts of the audience. Makes perfect sense. But yeah, I just saying like, I wonder if you'll let me shoot one more picture. I say go ahead. But yeah. Again, this was just so incredible. I just never would have thought you would have something this damn good. Not at all. So yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. See you on the next one, and of course, eventually Ingrid and I will go over. Care.